Since 1983, FAME has helped business and education work for Maine. Contact the authority, the Finance Authority of Maine. You're watching Mainebiz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
We are back with our panel of experts to discuss how manufacturing is faring in Maine. Okay, we left, and Lisa, we were talking about kind of some of the new manufacturing subsectors, I guess, if you will, in Maine, and one of them was aerospace. And you're right. Everybody says, "What? Aerospace in Maine?" And of course, we've had a history of that, but this is a new kind of cluster of them. Talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. With a grant from MTI, the Maine Technology Institute, we're 1 year into our Maine Aerospace Alliance project. We currently have 73 companies in that. We have established for the first time ever, which I think is a very, very critical piece of this, 3 aeronautical engineering courses at the University of Maine.
Great.
That will become a minor for students in the mechanical engineering. We have established, of course, working with the community colleges, Embry-Riddle, on the education and training side. But most importantly, we have been able to assess where the barriers to entry are for a majority of those small companies that are involved in the project, and are assisting those companies with those proper certifications that they need in order to get into that. And we're probably well into 20 or 30 of those companies that have obtained new certifications that will then allow them to obtain contract work.
So we talked about that about a year ago. So
yes.
It's real and it's still here.
It is,
good.
And it's fantastic.
Okay, aerospace in Maine.
We look forward to talking more about that.
Good, if you say so. No, I believe
in
you.
our
That's good.
successes.
Okay, I want to talk about challenges. I want to kind of take that 30,000-foot view of manufacturing, and especially for the small manufacturers, since we have a lot of those. What are the primary challenges, the major challenges that small manufacturers are facing in Maine that are keeping them from either sustaining and or growing? Gary, I'll start with you.
Well, I think for biotechnology, but also for several technologies, it applies that you have to stay up with these new technologies and apply the new technologies, and that's a full-time work for small companies to do that. But it is possible, and it makes them competitive on a worldwide basis. They also need to stay up on quality systems. There's international standards for quality, making quality products. Maybe that's very basic, but it really applies in this industry.
Do firms like yours have the resources they need in Maine to be able to do that?
Yes, actually, through programs like that Lisa has.
Okay. Good.
For ISO training, and some companies do their own.
Right.
There's various resources for that.
Challenges. How are the regulations? I know you want to talk about that. What are your members feeling?
Well, certainly, when we looked at the makeup of our membership, when you have so many companies that are less than 10 employees, to make sure that they maintain compliance is a real critical issue. One of the things that we're looking at and have had several conversations with some of the regulatory entities in the state is looking at compliance technical services that will really help those companies get to that. One of the things that we're most concerned...
What agencies are we talking about here?
We're talking about, it would be Department of Labor, DEP,
okay.
Under those things, under HR, safety, environmental, because they're all critically important for the companies, and yet the expertise in order to be compliant has been a major challenge for the smaller companies. So we are working on that. And as Gary indicated, on the business services side, the program that we run assists companies in looking at certifications, most of them being small companies with 3, 4, 5 employees. They don't have the resources, nor do they have the expertise in-house to be able to implement some of the training, some of the newer technologies, and certainly some of the certifications that need to be developed for these companies.
I wanted to ask about workforce too, because that's clearly one of the other mixes. Business is all about kind of access to capital, access to markets, and access to the proper workforce. And if you got the right mix, you're going to succeed. In Maine, do we have the workforce, the skilled workforce that you need? Let me start out with it was a quote in a Mainebiz article from November 2008. Many of the manufacturers in the state, like Walco Metroflex in Lewiston, struggles with finding a skilled workforce. John Powell, who's CEO of Walco Metroflex in Lewiston, says one of the largest sins of the last 5 years has been the community college systems getting away from its original mandate to produce technically trained people. How are we doing with that? That was a couple years ago. Has the community college system, are they providing the technical people we need? Are you finding the workers you need to fill these technical jobs? Gary, start with you.
Well, I think, at least in the biotechnology area, we've done a pretty good job.
Okay.
There's been, this has been an ongoing process for more than a dozen years. There are 2-year programs. SMCC has a 2-year program, biotechnology program. Obviously, the universities have 4-year degrees. They have all the way up to PhD levels. So there's a lot of collaboration there. I don't think that's an issue.
So those 2-year graduates coming out of those 2-year programs in biotech, they walk in with the skills that you need.
Yes, at a level they do, and they're getting jobs.
All right. How about yours?
Overall, we've had a fantastic working relationship with the community college systems. Our industry, specifically in the metal fabrication, in the machining, welding, historically has always had trouble finding skilled employees, even in this recession.
Why is that?
It's how we're home growing them, and we're not importing them.
Okay. And you can only grow so many at home.
You can only grow so many. And the quality of programs at the community college level have been fantastic.
Okay.
If we could get more people there, those that come out of those programs would all have jobs. There's no question about it, even in this day and age.
Okay. I wanted to follow up on that too, because another kind of area that we're really getting into in the state, of course, is clean energy areas, wind turbine technology, all that kind of stuff. Is that going to be the next big thing for us? And if so, are we also going to be able to have the skilled workers for that manufacturing sector?
Well, I think the trick is when you educate a group of people, one must have jobs that they can go into.
Right.
So I think right now with the clean energy, there's been great efforts at the community colleges and at other training institutes to implement some of those. We need to balance that with the companies employing those sorts of people. So that's a balancing act that I trust will grow for that sector here in Maine, certainly.
Good. We're going to wrap there, but I'm going to keep you around. I want to do an afterthought segment with you. I'm going to ask you about your predictions for the rest of 2010, 2011 for manufacturing in the biotech sector. And this is an election year, so I'm going to ask you to give some advice to those candidates, because when this airs, this will be after the primary. So we're going to have some serious gubernatorial candidates who are going to be listening to you, hopefully, online to get some...
They have to listen to us.
Tell us what you want, so stick around. Glad you were here. Thanks.
Thank you.
You can catch more of this discussion on manufacturing in Maine with our panel of experts in our exclusive Afterthought segment, seen only on the web. Go to mainebiz.biz and click on the Mainebiz Sunday link. We'll be right back.
Mainebiz Sunday is made possible in part by funding provided by the Finance Authority of Maine.